The Supreme Court today ruled that abortion is completely a private matter to be decided by mother and doctor.
Since the Roe v. Wade decision
to ask relief against the continued enforcement of the Texas abortion statute,
there's been a lot of noise.
And ask that you affirm the ruling of the three...
For abortion, against abortion, pro-life, pro-choice. These labels dominate discussions around public opinion on the issue. But the loudest voices don't speak for the majority of Americans, and the commonly shared opinion isn't written on a poster. It is found between charted points of nearly 50 years of data. These lines tell a different story, and Tom Smith is the author. As director of the General Social Survey, Smith has worked with teams since 1972 to identify American public opinion on legalizing abortion.
It's a classic case in which it's not all or nothing.
Smith and his team asked American adults and households 7 questions, like thoughts on abortion if the woman can't afford more children, or if there's a strong chance of serious defect. Their answers fell into 3 groups.
One group is I said no to all 7, so I'm absolute pro-life. And the other extreme is I say yes to all 7 conditions. I'm absolutely pro-choice.
Take, for example, is it okay for a woman to want an abortion for any reason? It's an absolute question that received an absolute response. An average of about 39% said yes, placing the majority closer to the pro-life camp.
And then in between is people who say some mix of yes, no, or don't know. Well, the majority of Americans are in that middle category.
Smith said around 55%, sometimes over 60%, are in the middle. A little less than 10% are in the absolute pro-life category, and 30% are in the absolute pro-choice category. Newsy even heard some of those opinions at the 2020 March for Life rally in Washington.
I don't think that there is a reason for abortion.
That's a slippery slope, and when I think about that, it's because it's a soul.
I mean, I'm a conservative, a Trump supporter. That's why I'm here for the president. And I admire these people with their convictions. But sometimes you have to have a compromise. And I don't think Roe versus Wade should be overturned.
This at a self-proclaimed pro-life movement. Case in point.
Clearly you can have middle ground.
Smith said the top 3 issues a majority of Americans consider include a mother's health, serious fetal defects, and rape. This overwhelming majority occupying the middle ground isn't new.
If you go back to the very first time abortion was measured in 1965 and you look at the early trend, there's a big shift to pro-abortion rights direction. But that ends in the mid-70s.
3 factors contribute to that stability. 1, the issue is not a moving target.
Abortion, the basic situation is quite stable. There's a choice. The choice is about there's a pregnancy. What do you do with the pregnancy?
2, generations don't have major differences in opinion on abortion. There isn't much change when older generations age out and younger generations begin to lead social change. And 3rd, good old core values, especially when tied to religion.
It's God who created babies, and they are separate from their mothers.
So when the noise inevitably ramps back up, remember to read between the data lines.